What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch back here with another Madden video. In this video, I'm going to break down my roster for the Bottom Line View Fantasy Football Fantasy Draft Bottom Line View Online Franchise League. This is with myself and other subscribers and viewers of the Bottom Line View. I'm going to break down the team that I drafted in our fantasy draft and how I built my team, how I like my roster, why I picked each and every player on my roster before I dive deep into this team with Tom Brady, Fletcher Cox, Kenny Clark, Geno Atkins, and more. Make sure that you do Gronk spike the like button and subscribe to the Bottom Line View for more NFL Madden videos just like this, and also comment your opinion below. What do you think of my team? Do you think I'm an absolute genius? Do you think I'm a goofball? Let me know in the comment section below. I'm just letting you know, if you're in the league, I'm going to win. But, I'm just throwing that out there. At quarterback, of course, TB12. So I was sitting there with a very high pick in the draft, and I was saying to myself, it's between Tom Brady and Russell Wilson. Tom Brady, Russell Wilson. And I'm like, this is the Bottom Line View League. The subscribers want to see me play with Tom Brady. So I'm going to go with Tom Brady, of course, with my first pick. And the thing I really love about Tom Brady is in this game, he actually got a lot of respect for being the GOAT that he is. So he has abilities that are unique to just Tom Brady, which pro reads, unique to just Tom Brady. Hot route master, unique just to Tom Brady. He has a lot of these different, of course he's clutch, things that Tom Brady would be known for, like hot route master, which enables you at the line of scrimmage to put any receiver, tight end, or running back on a specific hot route. So that's something that I took into account because I'm somebody that loves offensively to pass the ball, but I also love to be able to hot route my players into different things on the fly, and Tom Brady fits that skill set for sure. Now, when it comes to the backups, I didn't really even draft any of these guys. We ended up simulating after the 35th round. There's 54 rounds in total. Tyree Jackson I actually wanted, so I was happy. The reason why Tyree Jackson, I wanted him is he's 86 speed, he's 6'7", and he's 95 throw power. So if you're looking for a rookie quarterback who's young, who you can build up, and maybe even somebody that can take over for Tom Brady in the future, he's got a cannon and he's got wheels. I also picked up Trace McSorley in free agency because the guy is an athletic stud. Running back, Austin Eckler, Sony Michel. Those are my two main backs. McKissick was also drafted by the computer later on. Eckler I drafted because I wanted a running back who's quick, has some speed to him. Eckler has 92 speed, 92 agility, 92 acceleration. But he also is pretty good in the passing game, of course. Eckler is one of the best, most underrated receiving backs in the NFL today. He has pretty good juke move, 88, which I like to be able to in the open field, whether you're running after the catch in the receiving game or running the football to be able to juke. And then catching is 78, which I believe might be one of the highest in the NFL. So he has that to him as well. And he has a little bit of the route running as well there. Sony Michel is kind of a completely different running back. I like how Sony plays in Madden this year. He has a good combination of pretty good speed, 90 speed, 92 excel, and 94 agility, which is even better than Eckler. Not sure about that, Madden, but I like it for my purposes. And he has 75 strength, so he's able to break tackles and continue to run. And I just like the style he runs with when you use him in this game. So I have two very different type of running backs that I can utilize on my roster. At the wide receiver position, I wanted to go for speed. Once I realized that players like the high upper echelon receivers were gone, I wanted to go with guys that have a lot of speed. My first pick at the receiver position was actually John Ross, who is, I think, the fastest receiver other than Tyreek Hill in this game, and that makes sense. He ran the fastest 40 ever recorded. 97 speed, 95 excel, 93 agility. But in this game, and even last year in real life, Ross has shown that he can actually play football at times. 78 catch, 75 catches traffic. He's pretty good overall in terms of his abilities. He has 81 deep route running, which is actually pretty good. Not the greatest release in the world, but you don't really need great release in this game, in my opinion. Then you look at Curtis Samuel, who's 95 speed in this game, 94 excel, 92 agility. He's great in a lot of different areas, but especially actually his underrated assets or attributes are his catching statistics: 85, 82, 83 route running, 82 short route running, 83 mid route running, 79 deep, and actually has decent release, 78. But both of these guys, I wanted the ability to, if I wanted to, to run reverses with them, or to throw it on a drag and be able to gain a first down, or to burn you over the top if you're playing with no safeties deep. So that's what fast receivers in Madden allow you to do. And in real life, you're never in real life going to just have John Ross one-on-one without a safety over top unless you have an equally fast corner, which is very rare in the NFL. Now, other receivers I did select were Paris Campbell, the rookie from the Colts, who didn't really get to play last year. But again, more speed, he's very athletic, and will probably be utilized as my slot receiver this season. And then I have Scotty Miller from the Tampa Bay Bucks, who I like in real life. I think he's underrated, and he also is very underrated in terms of speed. He's 5'9", he's a slot receiver, but he also has 94 speed, and again, decent catching statistics, but we're going to have that Tampa Bay connection, Scotty Miller and Tom Brady. My tight end position, I went with Noah Fant as my starting tight end, who is actually rated lower than Seferian Jenkins, but I picked both of these guys, and I picked them for specific reasons. Noah Fant, 89 speed, 91 excel, 89 agility, 72 strength, and he has some pretty good catching statistics. He's also got a lot of potential to grow in the future in this franchise as well, and I wouldn't actually be surprised if he went up a lot in this first season that we're playing. He's not the greatest blocker in the world, as you can see by his attributes, but I don't really need him to block so much. I need him to catch the ball, and what he's going to be very good at is beating safeties and linebackers in one-on-one coverage because of that speed, which is very rare at the position. I believe there's only maybe 1 or 2 tight ends that are faster than Noah Fant in this game, and I got him a lot later than those other players did. And then you look at Austin Seferian Jenkins, who I like a lot in this game. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to play football last year in real life, but he actually in this game has a lot of useful attributes that I like, especially for a number 2 tight end. First off, he's pretty fast. He has 86 speed, so he's able to separate in routes, but he's also pretty big. He's 6'5", 262, which is 86 speed, but 262. That's a rare combination. He can catch the football, but the thing I really like about him as the number 2 tight end is he has really good run block. 75 run block, which is really, really good. And he also has some decent impact blocking, run block, finesse, 75 as well. So he's a guy that if I want to run stretches or anything like that, I'm most likely going to be running to his side. And if I want to go a little bit bigger or 2 tight end sets, he's a perfect number 2 tight end. The computer also drafted me Ed Dixon as well. And then we look at the offensive line, which I built in the middle of the draft. Villanueva is my left tackle, which I believe I selected first on the offensive line, maybe second, but either way, Villanueva is a solid all-around tackle. I just wanted somebody that could do a little bit of everything, whether it was pass block, specifically for Tom Brady, because there's a lot of good edge rushers out there, and in this game, edge rushers are OP, especially. If you look at his stats, I mean, he's pretty good with pass block power at 87, 89 awareness, so he's a smart tackle. And then everywhere else, I mean, he's pretty even. Impact blocking for the run game, pretty good. So overall, Villanueva is just a veteran tackle that, not too old, he's only 30, but he's going to get the job done at left tackle. Left guard, Cody Whitehair, who's actually a center in real life. I moved to guard, which you're going to notice a lot on my offensive line. I actually picked 3 centers and moved them to different positions because they were the best left at their position or best left on the offensive line. And for Cody Whitehair, I was looking for an offensive lineman that could play guard, but maybe could play center. With all the centers, I was looking for guys that could do a little bit of everything. Cody Whitehair was the fact that he has 72 speed, and 73 agility, and 82 excel. So usually centers aren't this quick and nimble and ability to move, which if you want to guard, that's what they need to be able to do when they're pulling in the screen game or in the run game. And then the blocking stats are pretty solid all around. I mean, 85 run block, which you mostly need your guards to be doing, 86 run finesse, 85 lead block, 86 impact block, really nothing under 80. So he's an all-around solid center, guard, whatever you want him for, but he's also 27, so he's still not even close to being done for this game or this franchise. Center, Matt Paredes. I wanted to go with the center who could pass block pretty well because I know that there's a lot of nasty nose tackles and D tackles out there, and people are going to really stock up on the defensive line. So for my center position, I wanted to go with somebody that is good all around again, but also pretty strong, 90 strength, and also can pass block pretty well. And overall, you know, Matt Paredes, impact blocking is very important for a center. He has 88 impact blocking, 85 lead block, which is good for the run game and those short yardage runs. And again, another center that overall doesn't have any weaknesses to his game. And as you'll see, I did really try to build my offensive line. I didn't spend a lot of my high picks. These are a lot of mid-round picks that I was able to get away with and built my entire starting offensive line with. Trey Turner, again, just like Whitehair, has good speed and good acceleration for the guard position. 89 strength. He's a little stronger, though. And overall, he's more of the run blocking type. I like to run usually in Madden to both sides. I would say that I tend to run more to the left, but Turner is really good at guard. He's still only 26, and there's not a lot of guards in this game that have a high overall that are only 26 years old. So Trey Turner is one of them. 87 lead block, 87 impact block, and all his run blocks are a little higher than his pass blocking stats, which make a lot of sense if you've watched him in real life. But overall, Trey Turner is a good player. And also, look at his picture. I mean, the guy is a stud. Look at those glasses. Right tackle, Brandon Linder was a center, of course, for the Jacksonville Jags, but I looked at the rest of the guys that were available in free agency, and I was like, or in the draft, and I was like, man, like, he's by far the best. I'm just going to put him at tackle. So with Linder, this is a guy that probably my best offensive lineman overall. When you look at all his attributes, he really doesn't have a weakness. And because he is 6'6", which is not usually typical of a center, usually centers are a little shorter. Like if you look at Matt Paredes, he's 6'3", Cody Whitehair is 6'3". But actually, Linder is a center, but I put him at tackle because he's 6'6", and he's still pretty athletic, and he has great pass blocking attributes. He has 87 pass block, and he has 90 pass block power, and that's what matters most when you're looking for a tackle. And also the right tackle, if you are going to have a more mobile quarterback, which I don't really have, you usually scramble to the right because you're a right-handed guy. Usually all of the quarterbacks in the NFL are right-handed, so you want to scramble that way, and you also want to have a guy that is pretty good at run blocking. Typically, the right tackle is better than the left tackle at run blocking, but it depends on the team and the scheme and the way that they run. All right, so that's my offensive line, and as you can see, pretty good offensive line. Left end, Rashawn Gary. Gary is not going to be one of the starters on the team, as I'm going to be running a 3-4 defense, but Gary is a player that's going to come on like in 4-man fronts and sometimes in sub defense. So Rashawn Gary has 86 speed, but he also has 82 strength. He's 6'5", 277. When I'm building a defensive line, it depends on what type of scheme I'm going to play, but I usually like to have guys that have really good physical attributes, like good speed, but also complementary strength. You'll never see me draft somebody that only has speed or only has strength. That's very rare unless they're a nose tackle and they just have like 90 plus strength. Right end, Fletcher Cox. So Fletcher Cox, if you know him in real life, he is a defensive tackle, but I'm going to be playing a 3-4 defense, which Cox usually plays more of a 4-3 defense. And yeah, a lot of my defense is going to be like 3-man fronts, 3-4, dollar, that sort of stuff. So Cox, he's 79 speed, but he's also 96 strength. And when you look at him, he's also one of the X factors that I do have. He's an unstoppable force, which just helps in the pass rush. And then under pressure also helps in the pass rush. And pass rush elite, I wonder, also helps in the pass rush. So Fletcher Cox is a very good run stuffer, but he's also phenomenal in the pass game as well. So Cox was a beast, and he was my number 2 pick in the draft. Solomon Thomas is my complementary defensive lineman. He's kind of like him and Rashawn Gary are the guys that are going to play only in certain situations. Thomas is going to be like that fill-in if somebody's tired. He's going to be the guy that's the third D tackle or the extra end in the 3-4. So Thomas, the thing I love about him that was really attractive about how he's built in Madden is 6'2", 280, and he can play basically any defense. So if you want him to play 4-3 defensive end, he can play that because he has the speed to do so, he has the acceleration to do so, and he has the agility to do so. But he also can play D-tackle because he has enough strength at 87 strength, but he would be a unique matchup because he's 280 but also 83 speed, right? But he could also play 3-4 end because he can hold up in the strength department and all of that. So he could basically play any position, and that's what I love about his skill set. Defensive tackle, Kenny Clark. I wanted somebody at defensive tackle, and as you can see, my defensive line is absolutely loaded, and I would argue it's the best in the league. I'm going to be primarily playing a 3-man front, but I'll mix it up because I have the versatility and players to do so, and I always love to have versatility on my Madden teams. Kenny Clark is a guy that is one of the best run stuffers in the entire game, and he's also very young. He's only 23, and he's a superstar. He has inside stuff, which is a rare trait for any defensive lineman in this game. I think there's only 2 or 3 of them in the game, and run stopper, which is also very rare for someone to have. So he's not really a pass rusher. He's more of like an elite run stuffer, but he's probably the best in the game at that spot because I don't think anybody else is as highly rated as him. And the thing I love about him, just like Cox, 96 strength, which is elite, but he also is not too slow. He has 70 speed, but for the most part, he'll be playing nose tackle for me. He's big enough to do so, and he does in real life. He also has 90 power move and 92 block shed, 88 tackle, which are always nice. Geno Atkins is one that I think everyone always sleeps on in Madden, but he's a really good player year in and year out because he's one of those D tackles that's always been built like kind of like a lesser Aaron Donald. He has the 78 speed, but he also has the 90 strength. And he'll be my defensive end in the 3-4, but he'll also be a 4-3 D tackle, my number 2 D tackle beside Kenny Clark. And then I'll probably put in Solomon Thomas or Rashawn Gary if I go like 4-3 or a 4-man front. So Geno Atkins, he also has unstoppable force. He's one of the best pass rushing D tackles in the entire NFL. 90 power move, 89 block shed, also good versus the run. And yeah, just a stud. Linebackers. So let's start off with my outside linebackers. Grugier Hill is going to be one of my starters. I'm actually going to be playing him as my user middle linebacker. So what a user middle linebacker is, if anyone's not familiar with Madden, is the player that the user, like the guy controlling the controller, is going to be utilizing on a play. So the reason why I picked Grugier Hill is I've had a lot of experience playing with him, so I kind of have like personal bias here, but he has great speed for a linebacker, like top upper echelon speed, 89 speed, 91 acceleration, 89 agility, 72 strength, which isn't terrible. It's not in the 60s, so I'll take it. And then he has actually better stats than he used to have, which 79 tackle, 81 hip power, 72 block shed, which we can work on, 81 pursuit, and we can build up. He's not bad in coverage with 65 zone, which really only matters to me. 66 man is pretty good as well. So Grugier Hill is the player that I'm going to be utilizing. So what I'm looking for in a user, if you're out there trying to play Madden or get started in Madden, is a guy that's fast, really, and then a guy that's athletic enough to move around in coverage and pick passes off. Jumping also helps, 88 jumping. So everything else, like block shedding and all of that, if you're a user player, is just bonus. But Grugier Hill is a great user, in my opinion. Leon Jacobs is also a guy that I drafted, and the computer didn't draft. I drafted them. I drafted him for a similar reason. He could also fill in as a user. He's not as agile as Grugier Hill, but the thing that he does have is he has the strength. So if I want to put him at 3-4 outside linebacker, which I really like my outside linebackers in the 3-4 to have that strength because they need to be able to hold up in the run game and set the edge, Bill Belichick style, then Jacobs can do that. He's also fast enough to play 4-3 outside linebacker, 4-3 middle linebacker, whatever you want. So he's another versatile piece as a backup that I'm looking for. Linebacker, Roquan Smith is going to be one of my outside linebackers. Currently, I have him at middle linebacker right now because that's his real position in real life. But the reason why I'm going to have him at outside linebacker is, first, the computer's going to be controlling him, and he's my best linebacker on my team, best in terms of play recognition, awareness, and just overall. So he's going to be better as a computer, and I would utilize a lesser player like Grugier Hill over Roquan. But Roquan could also play my second middle linebacker spot to play deep in coverage if I'm playing like a cover 2 or something like that, where you need to cover deep in the middle of the field. He would be utilized for that position as well. But he's just great in this game, I mean, and hopefully in real life he continues to improve. But he has great strength, so he can set the edge. He also has phenomenal speed, and he has good hit power, 87, and good pursuit, and really good zone coverage, which was also very appealing to me as somebody that plays a lot of zone coverage at 78. Outside linebacker Reuben Foster, yes, he has had some off-the-field issues, but he's in this game, and I did draft him. And the reason being is also I'm looking for a player that he has good strength, and he can play outside linebacker, and that's 84, but he also has good speed and will be fast enough. And those are the things I'm looking for to start. If you don't have the speed and don't have the strength, I'm out on you as an outside linebacker in my defense. He also has great hit power with 89, pretty good tackle, and decent zone coverage at 71, which isn't bad, and it will grow. And he's still young, 83 pursuit, and he's only 25 years old. Sean Lee, I just picked near the end of the draft when we were picking because, man, I mean, it's Sean Lee. I'm going to pick him, and I like the player in real life. He still has pretty good attributes at 81 speed, 86 excel, 81 agility, 76 strength. But he's really good as a computer. Like, later on in the draft, I was just looking for guys that they could fit a certain role. And for me, Sean Lee might actually become a starter as my second inside linebacker in the 3-4 and play kind of like a Teddy Bruschi role. He has 85 awareness, 87 play rec, which is really good for where I drafted him. And he's good all around and decent cover guy. So Sean Lee, yeah, he's going to probably play some snaps in my defense. Malik Jefferson and Brandon King, I just picked out a free agency because they're also fast. And Malik Jefferson also has that 80 strength, which I like. All right, let's get to the corner position. And Denzel Ward was one of my top picks on defense. He's young, he's going to grow, and he's one of the premier corners on the outside in the NFL. What I want from my corners are mostly coverage, but if you could combine that with speed and you can be a number, like my number one corner needs to have speed. That's essential because I need to be able to cover the fast receivers in this game that other people have. So Denzel Ward has 95 speed, 95 excel, 95 agility. If you run a streak or a go versus him, it's not going to get open. It's just not. He has 83 awareness, 80 play rec, 84 man, 81 zone, all around pretty good, and 86 press if I decide to press. He also has decent hands at 68, 92 jump, so he won't be had on jump balls. He's just all around excellent, and he's young, he's going to grow, and he's going to become one of the premier corners in this game, in this franchise. Fabian Moreau. Now, this is a guy I'm usually not into, like in Madden, but I kind of got a little bit, I will not lie, I got a little bit desperate in terms of my corner position and who I wanted here. So I was just looking for, because they were going off the board very quickly, and I'm not usually somebody that spends a lot of assets on the corner position, and I'll explain to you why in a sec. But because I spent so much on the D tackles, the D ends, and all of that, I mean, I really wanted to build my D-line to get a great pass rush, and so nobody could run on me no matter what defense I was playing. If I'm playing dime or dollar, you're going to have to come out and I-form tight to be able to run the ball on me because I have Fletcher Cox and Kenny Clark and Geno Atkins. So if I have those three guys up there, they're going to block shed and make a play. It doesn't really matter. Now, when it looks for corners, I typically am someone that plays a lot of zone coverage. I will mix in man, but I'm looking for more of smarter corners, and this has kind of gone away from my trend. But I wanted a good number one because you can play man in this game more than other years in the past where just man coverage has been terrible. But in this game, it's been better, so it's more realistic. Fabian Moreau and Akilla Witherspoon also are not small. They're 6 foot and 6'2", and also Crowley, who I didn't even draft, but they're all over 6 foot or 6 feet tall, which I like for my corners. I like them to have height. And speed is an added bonus. I mean, Moreau's not going to get beat if I put him in man-to-man because he's 94 speed. And he also has pretty good strength at 71. He's not the greatest in coverage in terms of man and zone coverage, only in the 70s, but there's actually not a lot of guys in this game at stock level that have good zone and man coverages in the 80s. like even Denzel Ward is pretty low for most corners, but that will go up. And actually, Moreau is a pretty good tackler and has some decent hit power for a cornerback. So overall, I just wanted to go with corners that were tall and fast and could play a little bit of zone. And that's what I got in Moreau and Witherspoon, because majority of the game is played in zone for me, as I've said. Now, safeties. Josh Jackson was one that I was eyeing for a while, and I was kind of waiting on. He is actually a cornerback in this game, I believe, but I transferred him to a free safety. And the reason being, he's young, so he's going to grow. But also, I like how his stats and attributes transfer to the safety position in this game. So he's 90 speed. He's not super fast for a corner, but for a safety, he's pretty fast. And then he has decent awareness, 73, 74 play rec. He has pretty good zone at 73, and then he has really good catch, which if I have a free safety, and I don't usually use my free safety, sometimes, but not usually, then I want somebody that can catch the ball when it's going to come their way, and Josh Jackson's that type of guy. 78 pursuit as well, so not bad in the run game, and that for a corner is actually very high. So it makes him a really good transfer to the safety position. Troy Apke is kind of obvious. He is very fast, and I think he will start at strong safety for me. He actually has decent man and zone coverage, and will be sometimes the guy that I user if I'm not using Grugier Hill at strong safety. Strong safety plays a little bit more in the box, but I also want a guy that can play a little bit of man coverage and do a lot of different things, and Apke with his athleticism can do that. Now, another strong safety I drafted is DJ Swearinger, which shout out to Monty. He actually said you should draft this guy, and Swearinger I've always been a fan of in Madden, and he's not been bad in real life at times as well. But he has decent zone coverage. He's, I believe, a star in this game, which is a progression trait, 93 hit power, so he can hit hard, decent tackling, 83 pursuit. So what I was looking for in DJ Swearinger was somebody a little bit different. Like, he doesn't have the speed that the rest of my defense has, but that's because he could play different positions, right? So you look at, I mean, Apke's totally different from Swearinger. Apke's way faster, but he's not as strong, right? 59 strength, that's pretty low. 67 strength, he has good zone, better zone than Apke, and he has way better hit power and all that. So he could actually play linebacker and sub packages if I want him to, or he could play in the box as a strong safety. He just gives me another weapon on defense. When I'm building my defense in Madden, I'm looking for as many different type of players that are useful. My kicker is Joey Sly because he has 98 kick power, and he's probably got the best kicker name in the entire NFL. So I went with Joey Sly. So that's my team right there. I hope you guys enjoyed my breakdown of my team. If you did, Gronk spike the like button and subscribe to the Bottom Line View for more Madden content just like this.